I'm hitting go.
No one's stopping you.
YouTube is telling us that we have an excellent connection.
Well, that's good.
Alright.
It's better than a poor connection.
Me and my chocolate milk can agree.
Mosey on over here. Vigorous slurping sounds.
I came in on vigorous slurping sounds, and
It's the perfect intro.
Oh goodness.
I feel like that should be the title of our next podcast. Our sound is good, guys. We're ready to go.
Yay!
All right.
Okay, so we're doing kind of an impromptu podcast. This wasn't really planned ahead of time. Super ahead of time. We talked about it yesterday, and then, But the past is the past.
Things have happened.
It is the eve of Christmas Eve here in 2020. And
Indeed.
we're doing a podcast about various things. I'm Scorch.
Gamey things.
Fast Empires is here. Our listmaster, and Arcadius is here as well as usual. And I'm going to let you guys pick what we're starting with. I'll just look things up on the fly if y'all want to start talking.
List master.
You got yourself a friendly list?
Nope.
Not even a bullet point? Oh my god.
Man,
All right.
So that means we're going to start with the biggest elephant in the room.
Is it?
Cyberpunk was released,
Yeah?
You could call it that.
and
I mean,
it is a metatextual news gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah?
But before we get into all the stories surrounding it, because there are a lot of stories surrounding it,
Oh, yes.
maybe we can talk a little bit about its release and the fact that a game that so many people have been waiting for so long, anticipating, is finally out.
Yeah. Let me start off by saying that I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 on a PC that could burn a hole in the sun. And it's incredible, bugs aside. And my experience is not that of the player base at large. So my opinions are going to be swayed by an experience that not everyone has. Just so we're clear.
Sway to
on
the
all of
functional, you might say.
Yes. I just wanted to get that out of the way before we started. Also,
I guess as long.
Oh, go ahead.
what's up, Fast?
Deer also. No, Deer also.
As of right now, including refunds, which is a story in and of itself, Cyberpunk has sold 13 million copies.
Ugh,
Which is
that
up.
is a lot.
It's up 5 million from day one. So, regardless of how people view this game, it's a success.
It is a financial success.
Yes.
And hence,
well,
the controversy starts wedging its way in.
Actually, let's take a step back, because it is a quarterly sales financial success, because we have even more
compartmentalizing
stories.
it even tighter.
We have even more stories.
I don't like boxes.
to talk
Fast.
about some of this.
I don't like boxes.
Huh?
I don't like
The
boxes.
walls are folding in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the lid's gonna come
but I
closing
do. You gotta be inside the box to learn how to work around it. But I guess since we're adding our caveats to this, or our disclaimers. I myself have not played Cyberpunk 2077. I watched a little gameplay from Scorch on his smoking fast computer day one.
You saw my
I've seen a
character's
little-
boobs and vagina.
This is something that is in the game, yes. I
It
did experience nudity,
it startled me.
not dudity.
There was a little bit of nudity. You could switch through some options and get to where you needed to go, if that is your thing.
Or where you want it to go.
But and I've seen some of the more egregious bugs capped by other streamers or YouTube personalities, or just people who posted their experience online, just for views or just to show what was going on. And I wanted to play this game day one, but I had expected to play it on a PS5. That's an ongoing saga of not having what you want.
Yep.
So I did not purchase it on the PS4, just like I didn't do Miles Morales on the PS4. I wanted to experience it in the best way possible, in the way it was intended, on console. Right?
Ditto.
So I'm coming to this from a third party witness and not an actual first person experience.
Which I think is a good call. It's safe. Because, boy, the PlayStation 4 version looks like a pile of potatoes rolling down a staircase.
Don't forget crashing pile of potatoes rolling down a staircase.
Yes.
Because I also am now super glad I did not pre-order this thing. But even if I had a PS5, seeing how the initial launch has unfolded, I still would not currently purchase the game, as I am in a mindset of thou shalt not pre-order. And as much anticipation as I might have about a game, I'm not concerned with being the first guy on planet Earth to finish the game. So pre-ordering it doesn't really mean anything to me. I have no gumption to pre-order, and stuff like this just supports that theory.
Yeah.
I should say it's not really a theory anymore. I'm doing it.
Well,
like I'm not. I don't pre-order stuff.
You've been towing that line for years, and it's paying off.
Years.
Mm-hmm.
It is now finally having some serious payoff. Well, for one, because I can't buy a PS5 right now, and two, even if I did buy a PS5 right now, I'm super glad to not be part of the cluster that is not enjoying the game that they purchased.
Well, then let's turn to Scorch real quick. Since we're inside of the cluster, let's talk to someone who's above it all.
Hello.
Who can see from his like glass tower
They
the
all
world
look like
that
ants
is
from
supposed
down
to be.
here.
How is Cyberpunk 2077 when it is running on all cylinders? Let's put it like that.
At its peak, it's fantastic. Even with my PC, there are many glitches. I am still encountering lag in certain areas and frame rate drops in certain areas with, my PC that can be seen from space. But all in all, it is a very good game, and I wish that even in this state, which is not perfect, I wish this is how the benchmark was for every other launch for this game.
So just to reiterate, you have not had game-breaking glitches, right? Little disparaging frame rates, or a little zip and a zoom there and stuff gets put in its place, or a slight phase through of something?
So I've had NPCs in T-pose. I've had I think my most egregious bug was that I had to reload the game because I could no longer draw any of my weapons.
That's pretty bad.
But
not near as bad as some of these other people, but that's...
But I'm running it on a solid
game-breaking.
state, and the autosaves are pretty generous. And there's a quick save button. So I only had to load up a couple of saves back and was able to work around the bug just fine. Which was sparked by me being in a driver's seat and one of my companion NPCs deciding that they wanted to drive too, and got in my lap and drove, which glitched all of my weapons. So that's what happened there.
So really, it's his fault.
I guess. I mean, didn't realize that I was supposed to get out of the car and like be an actor in their story, but I just wanted to sit behind the wheel and watch them like cap a dude. But I guess it's not the way they wanted it. But yeah, other than that, it's just little things. Every once in a while on a car, I do encounter a texture issue, but it's not so rampant that that's like what I focus on all the time. Texture pop-in is not a big deal for me. Characters are where they should be and they act like they should be. Looting is fine. I never had a corrupted save. It's been nice. Yeah.
Wood. Wow. Well, I can tell you, like, if you looked at the internet, like 80% of the internet would agree otherwise to that. But
yeah, no.
Most of all those problems are the consoles, and almost all the problems are PS4, Xbox One.
Yeah. And like I said, my experience is not the experience of the player base at large. Grain of salt.
Wow.
On top of a salt shaker.
Yes.
So do y'all have any other questions about any of this?
Not about the game itself. I've seen enough videos to go, damn, it's broke. And that's I got my understanding or my fill of seeing some PS4, some PS5, and some of your PC comparison, and the difference is pretty staggering.
Yeah.
So PC folks, you're fine. New generation console folks, you've got some issues. Older generation console folks, shit's busted.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it's busted on PS4. Like, I think one guy tried to do the loading scene, and all of the surface textures of the buildings disappeared, and he could see through to the rear side of textures of buildings across the way.
That's weird.
And they didn't even move because he was in a train. They didn't even move past him except at like maybe 5 frames per second.
Ugh.
It was awful. And then once enough people had been thrown out of the bus that they're all riding in via the cinema, and you get these limp NPC bodies that are just floating around through space, then the game crashed on him and kicked him out. So after it basically showed him the apocalypse, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this, and then it just killed itself.
Yeah.
So
I find it interesting that this game was announced when the PS3 was still going.
Which is part, I believe, of the furor on behalf of the dev team at CD Projekt Red as to why this has happened. Why? They just want some answers.
Suppose I could have scrolled down this
according
article.
to the... Well, they didn't give names, but according to an informant of the internal meetings that they had, it was a blistering, as they can describe it, a blistering conversation between developers and upper management, where upper management just gives all their head nodding and goes basically, yep, it's broke. Yep, we're trying, management speak, doing all the sidestepping and not really addressing the issues. And I will not be surprised if a big chunk of dev team leaves CD Projekt over this. Because you've got the triumphant hype train of, like you said, back for when PS3 was like the mainstream, and after was it 7 years of development? Is it 7 years total?
2012, I think, is.
We'll call it 8 years. We'll call it 8 years of development, of people pouring in their hearts and souls. Then they get to the final year of release, and then there's a delay, and then there's a dev crunch. Then there's another delay, and then there's more dev crunch and upset people on all sides and aisles of the party. And then the game releases in a state, to the bewilderment of the dev team and people who have poured their heart and souls into this game, to a non-functional, abysmal excuse of a working video game that has acclaimed to be from a AAA title that is tested, is fully functional, good to go, and it's so bad, Sony, to save their reputation, pulls it from their store and starts issuing refunds.
I don't.
So we have to take a step back though, because
True. There's a little more to that.
Well-
but I just kind of
well,
summarized.
yeah, no, that's really good. But I want to inject something here because you mentioned, the appearance that it was a fully functional, tested game. When the review copies were sent out to the various game review outlets, like IGN, like Game Informer, I'm assuming, and anyone else, Kind of Funny Gaming, I guess, and anyone else who has like influence, they were only sending out PC versions of the game.
Mhm.
Yes.
They sent out no console versions.
This
and-
is a tricky discovery that someone has made online about, or not even a discovery, but even that the reviewers themselves who wrote the articles exclaimed, "It seems odd that the only thing they've
Yep.
provided us are indeed PC reviewable content and nothing
Yep.
related to the consoles." And in fact, one of them said their NDA exclaimed about how they were not allowed to ask for performance issues of the consoles. They were only going to be given PC.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Very
Which-
interesting.
Which is, and we'll get to this later, but which is where I am coming down. I will be coming down very hard on CD Projekt Red as a company. And when I say as a company, I'm thinking about like leadership, operations, management teams,
Mhm.
and not developers.
Okay. I
But
was going
I
to
will-
ask
I will
to make
have
that
some-
distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be coming
Developers
out
are
like that. And
scapegoats like any other company.
like
for
any
the
other
most
thing.
part.
I'm not even going to blame their marketing team because your marketing team is just given what they're given. You
Yeah.
know.
And they
True.
did a pretty
I'm
good job, admittedly, the marketing team.
No, I think they did a great job. And while everyone again, I understand that like my Twitter feed is a little bit different from someone else's Twitter feed. But I saw what I thought was like the right amount of marketing for a game that was supposed to be as huge as it is, with a star as big as it is, lending his likeness to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't feel ostentatious. Part of that could have also been Corona too, though. We weren't getting billboards and like
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
that kind of stuff everywhere.
Times Square knockouts and all that.
Yes,
All
yes.
that kind of stuff. But I will have some pretty strong words because like there's so many things to talk about, but at the end of the day, what their development team is doing right now, instead of going on their rightly deserved vacation, is probably crunching more to get hot fixes in
Yeah. They
instead
released
of
one
enjoying
today.
their holidays.
Oh, they're
Instead of
putting
en-
Cat Crunch to shame right now. Like
Oh.
there's no comparison.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every single one of them at some point in time thought to themselves, well, we just need to make it to this point. I just need to make it until December. I just need to make it until here. I'm going to do my job. It's going to suck, but we're going to get it out there. It's
That
going to be something we can be
goalpost is
proud
on
of.
top of a drag racer. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
And they're suffering for it, and it's not fair. Who knows how many bonuses are going to be cut because of this or lowered because of this. They're not getting their time. Are they going to get comp time for this work?
They announced
all this kind of stuff.
They announced that the devs and everybody that worked on the game are not going to be their bonuses are not going to be tied to like critic score for this. They announced that like day
Well,
2 or
that's
something
good.
like that. Which is usually how it works. Like as far as I know, a lot of companies work it so that people's bonuses and things are tied to the Metacritic score, which I think is an awful idea. But
It's usually tied to some type of performance metric, and so if it's not, it's usually, I would guess it's not just a Metacritic score, but that's one of the ratings. It probably comes down to score, sales numbers, and like some other intangible.
Yeah. But
regardless.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing. And on top of all of that, they're now facing a possible class action lawsuit from misrepresentation of a product to the purchasing public. I have an article on that up. I don't know how much y'all want to talk about that.
Isn't this the Polish government bringing forward this?
It was.
Or what? I thought this was a government body. This isn't like just a group of people who are upset. They're like, this is a legitimate, like, large body of.
In looking to the future, the New York Times mentions that lawyers and investors in Warsaw are circling the situation, contemplating a class action lawsuit against the company.
Huh.
So
the very investors this is supposed to make money for are so disappointed they're actually going to file a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that really pisses me off about this, because clearly in all of the recounts that we have read about this situation, upper management, the leadership team knew that the game was not in a fit state for release, and they definitely knew it was not in a fit state to release to consoles at this point in time, right? Truth. Like, they could have just released it to PC at this point, and it probably would have been fine. It would have been buggy, but it would not have been the worst release of all time.
And people would have been mildly upset that they missed it for the holidays. However, it would have been known that, hey, it runs well on PC, just not the other stuff right now.
Yeah.
But instead, they made a decision to make sure they hit whatever target or sales goal or investment capital, whatever rigmarole that is centered around their Q4. To make that target, they said, we need to go ahead and release this game now. Mm-hmm. And instead of having like the masterful like stroke and all the money pouring in, which is pouring in because it is a very large game release and they did sell a lot of copies. If we flip to the other hand, how much money have they lost in stocks?
12%?
$1 billion.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
In just stock value. Just stock value. Not counting the cost of returning the game for people who have requested it, which I don't actually know the number of that. I don't know if anyone does right now.
I don't think anybody's going to be releasing that metric.
Yeah, it'll probably, no one really knows that metric. Getting that metric is probably pretty hard until after the holidays.
Yeah. And then there's that whole thing about the brain dance sequence of it booting up, causing people to have seizures.
Yeah, and not having an epilepsy warning on it.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it does now. I do want to say it does now. No, it did not have
in the very beginning. Warning. It didn't.
How? My gosh! Even without having played this game a single minute, with all the neon lights and stuff, how could they have not just put that as a default at the beginning of the game?
I don't know. I don't know how that slips past your QA.
Wow. Okay.
As much as the industry talks about game accessibility, like it's one of the more egregious. Well, there are many egregious errors, but this one is really egregious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone has a medical condition and it gets, they're not aware or prepared for it, and then they end up having an episode because this game be flashy as hell.
Well,
glitches aside.
Here's the deal with that. If you follow that article and how it was flagged, a writer at Game Informer, Liana Ruppert, had a seizure because of it and recognized the pattern of what caused her seizure, because she knows that is the exact kind of pattern doctors use in like scientific experiments and things to manually cause a seizure to
oh my gosh,
to measure like brain activity and stuff. So it was almost like cut and pasted from that. At least how I interpreted it.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's even worse. In my opinion, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. That's awful.
Yeah.
Hope they fix that.
So
But there's more.
They have fixed that. They've modified that sequence and also added an epilepsy warning, which I don't know why that wasn't there in the beginning, like you said, but you know, this is 2020. We need to make it as shitty as possible. Okay, what's more, Vast? Tell us more.
Oh, there was just some of to bring a little bit of levity in some of the some of the not safe for work bugs that were occurring for people who use the male avatar, where your character's dick wouldn't stay in the pants.
In their pants, yeah.
Oh, it would phase through everything.
Yeah.
Phase through everything.
It was the "you
with
can't
boobs.
cover me" appendage.
It
did.
It also happened with boobs, but
I did not know that.
not to the same degree as the junk sticking out.
The other thing was, and
just
I
ridiculous.
caught wind of this story from Kind of Funny, which I had running the podcast running when I was at work, end of last week or beginning of this week, where, what did they say? Oh, there, I think his name is Blessing Adeoye Jr. He commented that he had noticed while playing the PC version of the game that there were a lot of dildos in the game.
There were so many. Oh my gosh.
The review,
yes.
There were a lot of dildos in the game, and like not just you find them as a resource to unmake them for resource parts is what I'm trying to say. I'm missing a word right here.
Break them down.
Thank you. Break them down to make dismantle. That's the word I was looking for. But they were just like everywhere, like in bushes, on people, flying out of dead bodies, flying out of real, like live bodies.
There were whole
falling
shops
from the
dedicated
sky
to them. And like they're like wearable pieces of equipment if you want them to be. And it's
There's a
Like,
sword
this
or
was
a
a
bat?
glitch, or was this intended?
like
No, it's intended.
like a pair of pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the idea, coming from the studio is that they wanted to present a time and show that the sexual mores of 2077 was completely different, and everything like that. And so they thought the best way to do that was just to show that
open up
dildos were
dildo
everywhere.
shops
Fake
everywhere.
dicks everywhere.
Everywhere.
You get a dildo. You get a dildo. Everyone gets a dildo.
But
This
the
one's
reason why
perfect.
I'm really bringing this up is because they said that they had actually tuned down the dildo
They
density,
did.
which is the best phrase ever. And I've been wanting to say dildo density out loud since I heard it.
The
And so
dill
now there are
density,
still-
if you will.
The dill density. Oh, I love
Oh
it. The
my
dill
God.
density. And so the dill density of the game is lower than the review copies, but from my understanding, scores, they're still
Oh, there's
flying
a
around
lot.
like jelly beans.
There's a lot. It's
Wow.
yeah, like that's not a part of the game that I pay attention to, but even me like walking around, I'm like, that's a lot of fake dick.
I was not aware of this, and I will be mentally prepared when I rev this game up.
Oh man. Well, there's also that glitch about when you're driving around and your character decides to like reload all of their assets and they're like standing T-pose completely naked on the roof of your car for a little bit.
Oh, they lose their clothes?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's an interesting one.
It's only
27
for-
to
And here they
baby.
said you'd never get to see your character again after the creator.
Yeah. Well, you see them a lot in inventory and if you choose third person
Oh, okay.
like vehicles and stuff.
I guess you can see a little bit of that. Yeah.
Whoa, what does that sound? What
Oh,
just
no.
happened? Are we in a cave?
A rumble in the tumble sounds like.
No, that was just a car going by.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this microphone is really good, apparently.
It is.
It came in at the perfect pitch, though. Wait till it's 10 feet away, then turn on, and then turn off.
It's within bounds.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about?
There's more story here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
we hit some of the high points of the game at when it's playing at its peak. We talked about revenue loss. We talked about how it's affecting the developers, and I cannot again hammer home how difficult it must be to see 8 years of your life sell well but be critically panned as a technical achievement and as an artist. Like, that's got to suck, and it could have been prevented.
Yeah,
right.
It definitely could have. To pull a headline out of, I think it came out either today or yesterday. I only saw it as people commenting on it, not the actual article itself, but the writer of the article, which this I think is totally uncalled for and way too far. The writer of the article likened CD Projekt Red releasing a buggy version of the game to like Hitler or something like that. And
what?
That's like
What?
Okay,
that's
calm
absolutely
down.
like a group of people wanted to make a game and it didn't release the way that they wanted it to, so you're likening it to a dude who killed 7 million plus people? Like, that's not even...
Okay, well, we're gonna duly and promptly ignore that guy's opinion and anything he has to say, because that's just straight up stupid.
That's not right, dude.
No, that person needs to go back to journalism school. Or
start with
attend if they
ethics
had it
class
before.
first.
Yeah. So, there's ethics. They just need to take the whole course all over again, because that's just buzzword, outrage,
Yeah.
clickbait,
sensational phrase.
Yeah.
at its absolute worst.
Yeah,
that's pretty awful. Don't be that guy.
Don't
be
that guy.
You can be upset. Don't be that guy.
From what I understand, that person, like, from other writers picking up the headline and talking about how that was a bad take, they actually do kind of like that guy's work. This was just weird. But
Well, that kind of sounds even off for a bad day, so that's just very
I'm not sure.
terrible.
I'm not entirely sure why.
His brain was not working at 100% capacity on that one.
So, what else? What else we got? I know there's more.
We talked about Sony pulling it from the store. Well, we could sit on the journalism side of this story.
Sure.
Because apparently there has been some work done by Jason Schreier and another journalist whose name I did not write down. Is it Maria?
Are we talking about their little Twitter feud thing going on?
Yes.
All right, that's Liana Ruppert, the one that
Liana Ruppert, thank you.
That broke the whole epilepsy thing. It's the same person.
Mm-hmm. Well, break it down for us.
I was gonna let you do that. I've been talking a lot.
No. I'm here for the shock mic. You can break the story down.
You need the soundboard.
When we get our followers up, I will get us a soundboard.
Oh my gosh.
We could probably build a digital one online somewhere. But
pretty sure.
We'll look into it.
All right, I'll take this here. And bear in mind that my view of it is incomplete, and I'm like a bystander looking into a window of what's going on. So my version of it will be different than first party accounts and all of that. But Jason Schreier wrote, and anybody who's kind of familiar with games journalism has, I believe, at least heard that name. Jason Schreier, who works for Bloomberg now, he put out an article in which he broke down the management and dev conversations and stuff surrounding the release of this game. And one of the things that the devs brought up to the management was the idea of crunch. And that is particularly Jason Schreier's soapbox. That's what he likes to drive home. And honestly, he does a good job spotlighting that problem in the games industry. It needs to be taken a look at. But where the controversy comes in is after he writes this article for Bloomberg about this meeting, and he's him specifically citing crunch, Liana Ruppert of Game Informer decides to take the Bloomberg article and amplify his message, saying, "This is what Bloomberg got here. I'm directly citing it. You can take a look at his exact words here. I've linked everything for your own viewing." But what she did was she changed some of the words around and did not specifically, as far as I can tell, specifically say the word crunch. She used a different term. And Jason Schreier read this and decided that she was trying to downplay the effect of crunch in the industry, and decided to block her on Twitter and put her on blast to all of his followers that follow him and think he's like the second coming of Jesus. And evidently it made Liana Ruppert's a week or so after that article came out just got a complete hell of people constantly berating her and stuff like that. And I'm not a fan of that. I really am not. Especially when I've been following Liana's articles and stuff since her Don't Feed the Gamers Facebook page measured in the hundreds of followers. I've paid attention to her since 2011. So, yeah, it's not something I appreciate at all. And I didn't know that Jason Schreier was the asshole gamer gatekeeper that he might be.
Well, if you sensationalize a whole bunch of people in order to get mob reaction, that is very typical of our current age of people who are uninformed and only take the latest soundbite that appears in front of them from the people they follow on the norm. I would absolutely see that as a marketing ploy to basically build his fanatical base like other people do in similar fashion.
Well, let me take a step back because I don't know all of the ins and outs of this, but didn't those two personalities have something of an internet blow up earlier this year?
I don't know about that.
So when I went on
them together,
when I went on my search, I guess, for information about this, it wasn't actually being covered in gaming news, which I guess I need to start my own gossipy gaming news website so I can get all of this information. But when I typed in their names, her Twitter account was the first thing that popped up, and it was with a tweet from October 9th of this year.
Oh.
And it's a retweet of Jason Schreier from October 9th saying, his tweet, "A Game Informer podcast recently suggested that my reporting on Cyberpunk 2077's crunch is incorrect. Never mind that I interviewed nearly a dozen CD PR devs. Here's an email from studio head Adam Badowski in June 2020 apologizing to the developers' partners for all the overtime," and he linked that to his Twitter, and there's some more information there. And then her retweet was, again, the context not there in the tweet. This is why I don't do a lot of text on Twitter.
Yeah.
Too much nuance gets shelves, too much context gets lost. This is so disappointing to see. And I didn't do my full due diligence to go even further back and provide more information, but it looks like this is just continued butting of heads between two people from just this one perspective, but one of those persons has more power and influence in the industry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
But from this, I can't tell if she was on that podcast. Was she the one who was giving the take or what? I don't know.
I think, to be honest, we're both like citing from the same area, only I saw it this week. Like it came back around this week, but I really only saw like the Twitter posts and stuff like that, and then all the fallout from all the rest of it. I don't know if she said anything specifically in a podcast, which I know that she's a part of in Game Informer.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm not a journalist, you guys. I'm a fucking microbiologist, not a journalist.
And I'm nosy, and I should have had more information for us. But you know what? Maybe if you guys can handle this, like on a later podcast, I'll actually recount the entire thing. Just because now I want to know. I want to know the full details. I want to know what exactly happened to spark this thing, and why this follow up from her could have been an olive branch, or it could have been an FU. You know, like I can't tell because I don't know the context. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's also human nature to where if you've put in a whole bunch of work, you've written all these really well done articles, they're put on the appropriate platforms for extensive articles, and then someone sideswipes you with a tweet that is not at all what you just got done working on. Are you really going to sit there and try to basically, what's the term? Wow, can't words today either.
It's spreading.
Liberate your standing with trying to reconvince someone who didn't bother to read anything that you wrote fully, and they only put up they put up a synopsis that isn't even the full summary with full context, and now you've got to go dive down this rabbit hole to convince this guy and his entire audience that no, he's misrepresenting or miscommunicating. No, you're just going to fire off your one or two tweets like, okay, whatever, or no, that's not correct, please see this, and you're going to go on about your day. Because they don't live on Twitter.
Yeah, suppose so.
Well, and while you brought that back up, I do want to say, hold on, let me see if I can find it again really quick. Because I went out and looked for that article that Scorch referenced earlier about the guy who was comparing Cyberpunk's release to
Hitler.
So I found the quote, and then I have the paragraph that's from the article, and I'm just going to read it real quick if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Do it.
All right. It's from Paste Magazine, and the Twitter banner and, I don't know, clickbait content on it was, Cyberpunk 2077's multiple failures sum up everything wrong with the video game industry. It's the game of the year in the same way Hitler was Time's Man of the Year. Yeah. And then it links to the article.
There we go.
And so then it says, which was, by the way, a factual statement that Hitler did appear as Time's Man of the Year.
Okay, well, that's definitely a lot more context than just comparing him to Hitler.
I mean, that's what they did, though.
That's what they did. But here, I'm going to read the actual thing because I'm not saying it's right. But I'm also saying that you shouldn't have to like click through to get the meaning of something so incendiary, right?
Yeah.
But where did that? Oh no, I lost the actual text in the.
Too many advertisements.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh my god, dude.
Here it is. All right, sorry. So in the full article, it says Cyberpunk 2077 is the same game of the year in the same way that Hitler was Times Man of the Year in 1938, not as an award or accolade, but as a warning and an admonishment to the rest of the world. And no, we are in no way comparing a bad game to history's greatest monster. But if you're looking for an example of when an award isn't really an award, Time kind of set the standard back in 38. However, as much as I can see where this writer was going with that, that's just a terrible take.
It really
That's
is.
such a terrible take.
Out of
It is
all the other
such a
figures in
terrible-
history, you could have picked another one that had the same exact example, just wasn't quite that, as you said, incendiary.
Oh, it's just terrible, especially when well, I'm not even going to get in my soapbox, but we have seen a rise of fascist powers across the globe,
Yeah.
and it's just there are better ways to make your point. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah. I imagine that was an attempt to grab eyeballs. You know?
Mhm.
Well, he grabbed him, just not in the way he wanted, probably.
Yeah. He grabbed him from the back, not the front. Oh, man. There's honestly a lot that we could talk about, and all of these stories that are all wrapped around this game are far from over and all of that. But I kind of need a pick-me-up right now. And I think it's the perfect time for Arcadius
It is
to
time.
launch his gem into the stratosphere. If you
Yeah.
don't
Here
mind.
it comes.
If you don't mind.
All right. No, let's do this. Okay. So yesterday, to my own amazement and bewilderment, that there is something that is not so much a joke because it's actually happening. Now,
It's
this might
real.
happen in really small quantities. It might happen just as a means to say we could, but this is happening. I'm going to read the article verbatim because it does it perfect justice. And it has all the stats in it and everything that I could summarize, and it's going to be good. So sit down and buckle up. Approved by Colonel Sanders himself, the KF console is here, and the C in console is the end of the C in KFC.
Of course.
And it finally solves your problems that literally no one cared about until now. How to keep your chicken warm while gaming. The KF console, created in partnership with PC hardware manufacturer Cooler Master, promises to shake up the console war like a bag full of 11 herbs and spices with its built-in chicken chamber, a world's first. It means the day of stomach
World
lukewarm poultry
premiere.
or suffering through a salty cold piece of thigh are thankfully over, and it's about time. The KFC console was the first teased back in June and caused more commotion on social media than a fox entertaining a chicken coop. Demand, strangely, was high for a console from the long-running fast food chain, and well, here it is. And there's a video. There is a video on this, so you can go find that video. The KF console is designed to keep your freshly purchased food piping as you frag foes online, something with which the PS5 and the Xbox Series X simply cannot do, and we wouldn't
True
advise
statement.
doing it either. The custom-built cooling system extracts system heat around the outside of the chicken chamber so the hardware stays suitably cool while warming your chicken. The bargain bucket-shaped machine is also capable of chewing through the latest games too. While the specs are still firmly under wraps, the console promises to have a top-end Intel CPU inside, an Asus hot swappable mini GPU, and an NVMe 1 terabyte solid state from Seagate. It means that the KFC console can run Crysis and even the somewhat broken Cyberpunk 2077. As well as, I love you, Colonel Sanders, a finger-looking good dating simulator at an impressive 4K 240 FPS.
I can't lie, I did want to try that game out. This might give me a reason to do so since I can't get a PS5.
Hey, stream
I
it.
can get a console that heats my chicken.
Yeah.
So it says, suspiciously, the console doesn't have an exact release date, price, or any nailed technical specifications as of to share yet, although it does have a website dedicated to it. Nonetheless, we are crossing our fingers that Colonel Sanders delivers a consumer-ready product in the near future
Oh my god.
that are unaware of their heated chicken woes.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, so, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, They are making a KFC game system that heats your chicken.
That heats your chicken with a chicken compartment.
And like the entire, okay, so to describe this, the console sits on a little disc that is lit by a red LED, and it curves up into a perfect cylinder. And literally an entire faceplate of this cylinder pulls out like a drawer for your chicken warming needs. And the computer is on the lower part of your chicken in order to impart its heat to the chicken warming compartment.
It's a black and red computer that looks like a bucket of chicken, you guys. That's what this is.
Yeah. It's Colonel Sanders' game machine, the chicken warmer.
Now, if they could
have an oil resistant controller that goes with it, oh yeah, now we talking. Ooh, boy.
Oil
like
resistant.
A waterproof controller that you can just run a quick dunk under the sink after playing with your chicken fingers. Oh baby, there it is. There it is right there. Yeah, just like, oh my goodness. Here, I'll go ahead and link this article in there in our chat.
I'm showing what the console looks like.
You are?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The KFC warming machine.
Built in.
World premiere.
The chicken chamber. Now, if only they could
scroll down and show the good people the chicken chamber.
If
look at that.
They can get Mario Lopez to advertise this. Seeing as how he is now young Colonel Sanders in a Lifetime movie.
Yes, in a Lifetime movie. Also, I was thinking that it's time for Fortnite to put the Colonel in Fortnite.
All right. If they do that, they're going to have to put in like Wendy and the Burger King and Ronald McDonald
and the Hamburglar. We can't forget that mofo.
So because none of them have a game like a Twitter dedicated to gaming.
Yes.
The only other McDonald's had a video game. I remember
so just
playing
imagine
as
Ronald
Mick
and the Hamburglar being in there because they definitely would put him in there.
Oh, it was Mick. Well, I mean, like they were in McDonald's land. Like this was an old concept of McDonald's, I guess. And the characters you played as were Mick and Mac.
Oh.
I remember playing this with my cousins on, I think, a Nintendo. But yeah, none of them has like a dating sim where you can romance as the Colonel.
Yeah.
They're just falling short right now because they don't have a chicken warming game station
console that can run your shit at 240
Sorry,
FPS.
console, a chicken warming console, a chicken warming game station, a chicken warming party bumping machine.
Yeah.
They just don't have it. Everyone is falling short, and KFC knows what's up, and they're first.
Well, I think my only real concern about this is the oils.
Yes.
And how that will
seeping into your electronics.
Yeah,
but
and then
there's
also
a catch
just the
tray
room.
for that.
They thought of everything.
They got a drain pan. You can wash out the top because it's got a drop-in liner. Like they got you.
This is like when Porsche designs a ballpoint pen, right? This is the same like deal. The ballpoint pen is going to end up being like $150, but like, you know.
Yeah, but that's beside the point. This cooks chicken. Or maybe it doesn't cook chicken. It keeps your chicken warm. It keeps your hot piping KFC crispy chicken crispy until your eve of gaming is over.
Well, you know, fried chicken is just never as good after it cools off. It's one of those things that you gotta eat right
KFC
out of
is aware of this.
Yeah.
And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, they are doing everything in their power to ensure you enjoy a playful and robust evening of gaming and finger licking good.
Listen, if you don't get that protein, you're gonna get the shakes, and your aim is gonna be off. You guys.
Yeah, you can't have that.
That's how it
can't
works.
have that. Although I'm gonna suggest KFC. It's not in your specs, but you better make that controller washable. Just saying.
Watchable.
Oh,
IP69K rated, you better, because a controller covered in chicken grease, that's also something that's got to be remedied. You gotta think ahead of this one.
Yep.
Just do it. Just do it now. You'll be all right. Wireless charging, and you're okay.
Scorch is called MC Kids.
MC Kids? Okay.
I mean, to give credit where credit is due, their first prototype does look like it has stainless steel drawer slides. Just throwing it out there, folks. Like, they're thinking this through. They're serious.
It's like they married a convection oven or air fryer with.
Yes, that is basically
The
probably
console.
what they've done. Only they don't need to fry it with a plain Jane heater. They're gonna fry it with your enthusiasm of gaming.
With the power
So that
of
way
gaming.
you can have by the power of gaming and your enjoyment, you will get to compound, multiply this enjoyment by chicken right out of your console.
Can't go wrong with chicken.
Cannot, folks.
You
So look to that.
You absolutely can go wrong with chicken, and my father has cooked it.
Can't go wrong with chicken. You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with chicken done right.
With
There you
chicken
go.
done
Can't
right. There you
go wrong with chicken done right.
Yep. So there you go.
What
Caveat that.
phrase did we coin?
Dildinty?
Yeah, I was gonna say dildacity, but
Another good one.
Oh,
The
goodness.
dildacity of CD Projekt Red releasing the game in that state. I like that
Oh
one,
goodness.
actually.
Oh
Remind
goodness.
me to use that one during. That should be a new Wavy award. The
The
dildacity.
dildacity.
Award.
Oh my god. This is gonna cause a whole new category to get created.
It's so good.
It's so
You did this,
dildacious.
CD Projekt. You did this. You did this.
Well, I have another lighter topic to talk about if you guys want to roll into
Yeah.
something else.
Absolutely.
Not sure how much lighter you can get by finger licking good gaming, but go for it.
What about something from Nintendo?
Yeah,
Sure.
Nintendo.
Rated
E for
this is a couple of rated E for everyone. This came out a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago rather. But Universal Studios Japan announced that the long-awaited Nintendo theme area, Super Nintendo Land, will be opening in February, if all things continue as it should be. And so,
COVID outbreak in Japan.
Oh god.
Again. But Mr. Miyamoto did a tour of Super Nintendo World, and you can find videos or clips about it across the interwebs. And it was really cool. And I thought to myself, I kind of want to go. I kind of want to see it. The inner child in me was super excited.
Well, they
the inner
succeeded
child
then.
isn't very
They
inner.
got you excited.
Well, the three of us are
was pretty out
eventually
there.
slated to go to Japan anyway, right?
Eventually.
It's
down
kinda,
there.
it's
Down
kinda,
the road.
It's kind of a thing. The three of us.
It's
are
way
gonna
down
do
there.
I'm down.
That. Yeah.
It's way down there.
This is a distant plan, but yes.
I mean, we're not going next week. And
Yeah, I would
oh,
be
man.
biased. Although I will say, I bet you the plane tickets right now are a really good deal.
Yeah.
Well,
If they'll let you
man,
in the country.
I wonder what's going to happen to the Olympics. I wonder if they're actually going to happen next year.
Akira!
Not to bring us down.
Would not be surprised if they get postponed a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that gymnastics would get hit pretty hard right now, considering everyone in a tight space, tumbling and sweating and throwing themselves about. It's probably not conducive to pandemics.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Well, I have a picture up from Polygon of Super Nintendo World, and it is every saturated color from Nintendo's color palette smashed into one picture. And it's it's eye-bleedingly Nintendo.
I
Greens,
can
red,
hear the
blues,
music.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mario-themed enchantments are coming through the screen.
Yeah, man.
I can hear it.
World 1-1.
And you feel it.
It's a banger.
Just a warp pipe away, as they say.
Oh, why are we not advertisers?
Hey, we need to get D's nut juice off the ground first, right?
Yeah, we do. We do. Well, fortunately, I'll be off for a week, and some of those logos that I was working on, I can put back together
Bring
and
to
show you
life.
guys.
Oh my god.
Oh, you thought I was kidding? D's nut juice is on the way.
Okay,
Brought to you
I
by
did
D's
mildly
Nut
believe
Juice.
you to be kidding, so this is funny.
Oh no, we have a sponsor, y'all, and you'll learn all about them in 2021.
Spoiler: the sponsor is us. Oh man.
Oh my goodness, that is funny. That's good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff.
You got anything else?
I got
to
some
talk about?
bad news. Yeah, just some bad news,
Aw.
and this will bring us into some other stuff that we didn't actually get a chance to talk to. And it's not 100% our topic; it's more of a me and the Crash Gals topic. But I wanted to run it by you guys. But we're going to start here.
Okay.
Into the Spider-Verse is currently on Netflix.
Isn't it
Okay.
leaving Netflix soon?
Yes, it will be leaving Netflix very soon. No telling where it's going right now because it's a Sony film. However, Sony has recently purchased Crunchyroll, so they're ramping up their
Oh yeah, they are.
streaming services. They're wrapping up their entertainment streaming service. And none of the other streaming platforms like HBO Max or Amazon Prime have suggested it's coming there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like in this limbo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was going to be like the start of a topic of along with the idea of, like, earlier this year we mentioned that that woman who was suing Amazon about her video game her purchases, and for her to learn in the fine print that you aren't actually purchasing the video through Amazon. You're purchasing the license to watch it through their streaming platform. But if they lose the license, you cannot view this thing anymore.
Because it'd be considered infringement of the license.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Such garbage.
So where are we going to go to find the things that we love when they're moved from something else and they're not on cable? Because no one has cable anymore. I mean, granted, a huge swath of the United States still has cable.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the younger, hipper, less bound by the cable box people, where are we going to go? Are we going to go
More
back to
bound
cable?
by the internet bandwidth.
Mhm.
Yes. All the kilobytes, megabytes, and for some gigabytes.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know where we go. That's kind of like an existential question at this point, isn't it?
It's an existential question, but it kind of puts me in mind of, like, exclusivity. We talk a lot about why exclusivity is bad in gaming, and we're talking about specifically, like, console exclusives, right?
Yeah.
But as more and more studios get into, not get into, because they're almost all here in the streaming age, but solidify their grasp on their audience, the way to keep them as their audience, to keep paying, is to provide more content that you can't find anywhere else. So that means more exclusive content, right?
Yeah.
And before, it was a little bit more manageable because there were only so many stations that had exclusive premium content. There was HBO,
Yeah.
and then there was, Showtime and Cinemax, but who's really watching their exclusive content, right?
Yeah.
HBO is where you went for, like, the really serious television shows and the comedy shows and stuff like that. And now that's changing. And this is where I transition to the other topic. When you look at a Disney Plus, who recently announced the whole slew of things that are finally coming to their channel that they promised to people, almost 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when they first announced Disney Plus. They said we have this slate of original content that's coming to our platform, and then they waited 2 years to give it to us. The only place that you can go watch that stuff is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, subscriptions as the new consistent means of better revenue streams are all the rave, and they're not going away.
Well, they've been a thing for a really long time. If you have been around long enough, like us, and also the people that don't listen to our podcast, which is the rest of the earth, that if you can remember cable packages about, oh, you can get ESPN and like Home and Garden or whatever the fuck. It's kind
all
of
together in one.
It's kind of the same thing. We'll just jack up your cable by like $60 a month, and you'll get those two channels. It's kind of the same thing.
You got the History Channel too.
Oh yeah, you mean the Hitler Alien channel? I love that channel.
Or for the occasional people who remember, How It's Made, best show ever.
I was never a fan of How It's Made.
Really?
I never
Because
really
sometimes
was.
they made the most interesting stuff, and other times it's like, why would I want to watch how that's made? And an hour later, you know how it's made. And so
let me tell you this.
It's like the first of YouTube type rabbit holes. You don't expect to learn how toilet paper is made. You don't expect to know how Skittles are made. But you end up figuring out how all of this stuff gets made, and you're like, wow, I appreciate this product just a little bit more.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I am not surprised that you enjoy that show.
I am not surprised either.
It's right up your alley, my friend.
Yep.
It's not up
But just
mine now.
throwing it out there as an aside for things that got bundled in cable back in the day to make people want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I do also want to point out really quick that some of that information that I had about Spider-Man leaving Netflix came from a article on The Verge by Julia Alexander. I just want to make sure that I put that out there. It's a pretty good article.
Yeah.
Made me think. All right, real quick, let's transition to that big Disney Plus announcement of all the things that are coming. Did any of you guys take a look at, if not all of their like Disney or Pixar things?
Ooh,
their
I know there's a
Universe or
lot,
Star
but I
Wars
did
things?
not read it.
I did take a look at it. Let me start.
It was a lot.
Let me start off by saying that I don't want to even further line the big mouse's like pockets with money. So it's really hard for me to like want to watch all of this stuff. Like, I love Star Wars. I hate the last 3 movies. I love Star Wars. But
There were three movies. I didn't see this.
yeah, you're
I didn't
lucky.
see the last
You're
one
lucky.
out of principle.
I'm just kidding. But I'm ignoring those. All right, continue.
Yeah. It's gonna take, and let me also say that I'm definitely in the minority for this. It's gonna take a hell of a lot for me to have an ongoing Disney Plus subscription for all of those. Like, I'm planning on watching The Mandalorian
binge tactic.
season 2 in
Which I think you'll
one
enjoy.
day, and then canceling my
Yeah.
subscription so they only get like $10
Yeah.
out of me.
Yeah.
But if I have to do that for like every single Star Wars show, that's like $120 or some shit. And that's, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That'll still be cheaper than paying the subscription over the entire duration that they play.
That's true, but like, goddamn, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I don't know if I'm like a Disney Star Wars fan, you know?
I don't know.
Well, let's go over the production list because there's a lot. I want to hit almost everything, but I do want to really focus on the Lucasfilm stuff because we are all Star Wars fans here.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is Clone Wars, prequel films, that area of Star Wars is not my bailiwick. I still am excited to know that there is new Star Wars coming, and I hope that the quality of it increases and more stories are there to be told, right? So during their Investors Day, they announced that Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming, which we already knew.
Yep.
But Ewan McGregor's reprising his role, we already knew. But Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there are 2 series set in the Mandalorian era, which are Rangers of the New Republic, which I'm not going to say that because that would be a spoiler, and Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka.
So Ahsoka Tano will be there.
Ooh, there you go.
And then they've announced Andor, which is the name of the
pilot,
smuggler.
Right?
It's a pilot.
Cassian
He's
Andor?
a smuggler. Yes, Cassian Andor. Is it Cassian? Anyway, from the film Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
With the series, they'll also have Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which is about the clones from the Clone War
Animated
series. Star Wars Visions, which I don't really know what that's about. I'll have to go check that out real quick.
Like a series of short stories and stuff. They're like vignettes
That would
in
be
the
cool.
Star Wars universe that center around like
I'd take
characters.
There's a Lando show. The Acolyte, which I can only assume will be about some Sith kid. Or those
like an acolyte is what you call like a Jedi learner. I'm not necessarily saying that that's also not what they're calling a Sith learner, but I've heard it most as Jedi. But I'm not, fluent in Disney Star Wars anymore, so.
Who is? And then a droid story, which will feature a droid. And then on top of all that, they're going to have a Willow series, and Warwick Davis is coming back to the role,
Oh, yeah.
or or at least to the project, which I thought was super cool.
Interesting.
Like that's something I was not expecting.
How are they gonna do that? Willow.
And Monaghan.
Is it
I
about?
don't know.
Is it just gonna be about Ewoks? Or what?
I wouldn't have a clue. I don't
Oh
know.
wait, take a step back. Have you guys never seen Willow?
No.
I'm trying to recollect.
It sounds like you haven't, and this is
I'm
usually
gonna safely say
baby.
no for now.
Usually I'm baby in this situation, and I have never fully seen Willow, but I remember it from my youth because it was one of those live action fantasy stories that came out in the mid to late 80s, and it starred Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis. And Warwick Davis is, I don't remember what he's almost like a Hobbit. It was almost like a Hobbit type film.
Oh, I've definitely not seen this movie.
Yeah, you guys need to watch it.
Let's take a look
It's
at this.
classic. So you were thinking about Wicket, which was the name of the Ewok that Warwick Davis. Yeah. I used to have a Wicket toy, and I used to have a Yoda puppet. Where the hell is my Yoda puppet?
Mom, where's my Yoda puppet?
Mom,
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 where's my
Yoda puppet?
I'm gonna get spoiler. I'm gonna get a child doll and put it next to my Yoda puppet. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Then there will be a new Star Wars film, Rogue Squadron, which will be directed by Patty Jenkins, who directed the Wonder Woman franchise, which I think I really like the first one. I'm super excited to see the next film, and I really want to see her vision of Rogue Squadron on screen if, the next Wonder Woman film is as good as the first one.
I've heard that it is, but I haven't.
Then, sorry not to cut you off. I'm just so excited.
It's fine.
They announced a new installment of Indiana Jones franchise.
I did see
They
that.
did.
Harrison Ford is going to crawl his way all to the big screen and manage to survive through one more movie. I don't know how. Like, they're going to have to CGI the walker out or something, but somehow
I was gonna say,
he's going to...
Indiana Jones and the Legend of the Golden Corral.
Yeah, that's basically where I think it's going to be at this point. Because the last Indiana Jones was entertaining, but it wasn't good. And
my God, I want to see that.
Harrison, I mean, I commend him for continuing on, but god dang man, it might be time to call it. Like I don't know, but
Well, so here's the thing. From what I have seen of Harrison Ford, one, I'm sad that this film couldn't have been made when Sean Connery was still with us, because I would have loved to see them reprise their roles as father and son in a film, because their bickering was really good. Yeah. Yes. Rest in peace, Mr. Connery. But I feel like he would come back to kill that character in the same way that he came back to Star Wars just to kill Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
You think that the giant rolling boulder is finally going to catch up to him this time?
Well, I mean, it's not like he can run from it.
That's true. There's not.
It's to be determined if he could even drive away from it.
Not enough friction on those tennis balls, my man.
Just blazing a trail of some smoking tennis balls.
Should have carried less bags of sand.
Yeah. I should have left the totem on the altar.
Oh man, but I really do want to see Indiana Jones and the Legend of Golden Corral. Like that would be the best short film ever. And I wish that we had the money to do it.
If I was better at Photoshop, I would make a movie poster for that.
Do it and put it on our Twitter feed.
I'm seriously not good at Photoshop though, so.
I mean, but you got time. Also, I really have
time. I'm a working adult.
Womp womp.
I also want to say that there's another Star Wars film that's coming out. It's an untitled project, but the director will be Taika Waititi.
Yeah, he's the dude that did like Thor Ragnarok.
He did Thor Ragnarok, which was amazing, and he also did what they. He was also part of What They Do in Shadows. Have you seen that film?
I know of it. I'm not a big movie guy, so like, you know.
Oh my god, we need to watch films together. But they did that, and then the TV show. He's like an exec. I guess he's a producer or something like that. But there's a TV show, and he's still reprises his role from time to time, I think. He's done an episode or two of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he has.
For the first season. And he's doing the next Thor film, Love and Thunder.
Good name, by the way.
Mm-hmm. He's such a fun and charismatic and intelligent and funny director. And I have yet to see something that I enjoy from him. So I'm super excited.
You mean
don't
enjoy from him? You've yet to see something that you don't enjoy from him?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that what I said?
You left
words.
Out don't.
Words are hard.
Yeah.
Words hard.
Listen, it's the eve of Christmas Eve. I'm going to cut you some slack, but you know.
Thank you. I didn't even tell you about everything that happened after I logged off from work today. But
it's going to be a story time after this podcast.
Just a quick one, because I can go on and on and on. But let me hit the rest of these real quick, because they're pretty cool. And I'll just run through them, because these are Disney affiliated things and less Star Wars, but I still want to talk about them. You ready?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, long list. I'll keep it fast. Beauty and the Beast with Luke Evans and Josh Gad, who were in the live action version. There's going to be a reimagined film of Swiss Family Robinson, which I used to love as a child. Percy Jackson and the Olympians is going to get a television show, maybe on Disney Plus. There's going to be live action series to debut on Disney. One of them is the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, and Emilio Estevez is coming back. Quack, motherfucking quack.
Wow. They got Estevez.
They got him to come back. Turner and Hooch is as a TV show. Big Shot, which is about a high school basketball team. But anyway, it has John Stamos. Then there's the Mysterious Benedict Society, which is based on some books. National Geographic is having more shows on. coming on, including something called Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, the hottest Hemsworth, in my opinion.
Isn't that just him working out or some shit? No, it's him like visiting crazy things with people or some shit.
I would watch both respectfully. Respectfully.
Okay.
They also have something called Welcome to Earth, which is the working title, which will feature Will Smith.
Okay.
They have a new documentary about Cousteau, a new series like Secrets of the Wells, A Real Bug's Life, America the Beautiful. I'm skipping the stuff for Hulu and FX, going down to Disney specifically. Hocus Pocus 2, which is pretty cool. They're going to be a reboot of Three Men and a Baby, apparently, with Zac Efron. I didn't even know about that one. And then Cheaper by the Dozen, and a new Sister Act film. And Whoopi Goldberg will be returning for her role in that. I don't know if you guys were there for the Sister Act phenomenon, but that was like really big.
I was not.
No, was not.
It was oddly big because Whoopi Goldberg was a a lounge singer who hid from the mob after witnessing a murder in a convent, and she took over the choir, and the nuns sang for like the cardinal or something like that. Anyway, it was weird and it's funny, and they made a sequel, and it made a lot of money. I thought you
were talking about actual Whoopi Goldberg for a minute, and I'm like, God damn!
Yeah.
Couple more. There's going to be a live action Pinocchio, and if I recall this correctly, Tom Hanks is going to be Geppetto. Don't quote me on that because I'm looking at the list and that's not there, but I think he's been attached to the Pinocchio, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers live action film.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Pinocchio,
wow.
Directed by... Hold on, take a step back. Pinocchio, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks.
Dang, dude.
Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks, that's like huge.
My goodness.
Huge.
Dang.
There's going to be a Peter Pan and Wendy, which stars Jude Law as Captain Hook. Disenchanted, which is a sequel to the film Enchanted with Amy Adams returning as Giselle. Oh my God, I didn't even know that. That's great. Sorry, volume down. It's cool.
So they're definitely going for the reboot button, and it's like they're at a boat on a straightaway, and they're pushing the throttle up, and the boat is beginning to heave back, and here we go. Like that's basically what they're doing right now.
Couple more.
Like, hold on to your seats.
Jungle Cruise, which is starring The Rock and I believe Emily Blunt. Cruella. There's going to be.
They're going to do another Cruella. Oh my goodness.
There's going to be a prequel to The Lion King and The Little Mermaid. I don't know how they're going to do that, but they are.
Oh my God.
The Cub
then the
Prince.
Animations. The Cub Prince. Oh my gosh, it's going to be about Mufasa. Is that going to make his death even worse?
Maybe.
Jesus. I still
Nothing
cry.
like a prequel for your prequel.
Look, I saw I think it was either a Vine or someone's Instagram story of them it was a father showing watching The Lion King with his daughter for the first time, and his daughter was maybe 4 years old. I don't think she was older than 5, but she was maybe 4 years old.
Oh boy.
And like I heard the music start to play and I started to tear up because I could remember that. And then I saw her start to cry and she started crying, and then she stood up and she walked to her dad and just crawled onto him. And then I started to cry. I was like, oh my gosh.
Why are you crying? I'm not crying. You're crying.
Right, we're almost done. I promise. I know this is just so much. Okay, Raya and the Last Dragon is going to premiere on March 21st or March 2021, and that's going to be one of the films that will be premiere access, which means you'll have to pay $30 to watch it on release. They're also doing a Baymax series, which is from Big Hero 6. They're doing a Zootopia Plus. They're doing a show for Tiana, which was the princess from Princess and the Frog. And they're doing something for Moana, which is at this point my most favorite Disney film. Disney princess film. She's not a princess. Yeah, she is a princess. She's a chieftain's daughter. Anyway,
in their eyes, she is.
You don't care about all of that stuff. They're doing a film called Lightyear, which is supposed to be based on the character that Buzz Lightyear, the doll, was made from, and it's starring Chris Evans.
Oh, of
As
course.
the voice of Buzz Lightyear, yeah.
as the voice of Buzz Lightyear. And then down to Marvel Studios, they've finally released a sizzle trailer for Miss Marvel. Although there's some controversy there. They released some footage for the Loki TV show, which they teased about but didn't have anything about. WandaVision is finally releasing. The Falcon the Winter Soldier is finally releasing. The What If series, She-Hulk. And then we talked about this before, but Moon Knight is coming and Oscar Isaacs is starring in that. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that's coming. And then a series of original shorts featuring Groot called I Am Groot.
What else you gotta name it?
Yeah.
I know, right?
You are Groot? I can't do that.
We
and
are
then they
Groot?
had a whole
No.
bunch of other. We could be Groot. I'm almost done, guys. Almost done. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I didn't go see the Ant-Man series
Neither did I.
with Paul
I saw
Rudd.
Ant-Man, but not the second one.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I watched those like later, and they were surprisingly fun. Like I enjoyed both of them. So I'm actually curious. I'm excited to see this new one. Is where I'm going with this. They're trying to reboot the Fantastic Four again. God bless them.
How many times they gotta beat that one into the ground?
You know
A
what's
lot.
holding them back in Fantastic Four? The stretchy dude.
Stretchy dude. Doctor. What is he called?
Dr. Stretch. I don't know.
I can't. It's too late. Wait, it's Johnny
Yeah.
Storm,
The
Invisible Girl, The Thing, and
Dr. Stretch.
okay, yeah. They just need to get rid of him because we can't even remember his name. All right, really quick. There's a new Blade film. Marshala Ali is going to be in it. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I'm waiting to hear if it hasn't already been announced if Wesley Snipes is going to be attached to the project in any way. The Eternals. There's a Hawkeye's TV show. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is coming. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Ironheart, which is I think going to be a TV show. Secret Invasion, which I believe is about the Skrulls. Armor Wars, which is a TV show that I think will feature Rhodey. And I really like Don Cheadle as an actor, so I'm really excited to see something from him. There's just a lot coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm going to keep my subscription because my brother will probably murder me in my sleep and then get it himself if I stop it. But I am super excited about it, but when I sit back as a real consumer, I don't know if I want to pay for Disney Plus for another year and then have to wait another whole year or two to get that content that they're promising because I've already done that for a
Don't
year.
pay in between. If you're not getting what you don't want in between releases, don't pay for it.
Also, by the way, Vast, his name is Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic.
Obviously, he's not that fantastic if we didn't remember his name.
I mean, I wanted to call him
Mr.
Mr. Stretch.
Fantastic.
I feel like that's more. That's more what they wanted.
Dr. Stretch.
Don't
I see
stretch.
you returned.
I need more corn syrup. I'm getting all stiff.
Did we just create a new character?
Call
We did.
Stretch
Let's
Armstrong.
do the power of cornstarch. I am Dr. Stretch. Oh, that's so nasty. Okay, we'll talk about that later. What I envisioned. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm winding down, guys. I'm just excited that there's
a
more stuff to
marathon
come,
of
but
stuff.
a marathon of stuff, but also a little ambivalent because there have been, we'll talk about this once you guys watch it, but there's been some moments where I'm just like, is it actually the quality that should be given to these type of titles? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, considering they're doing Fantastic Four.
And what happened to the most recent Star Wars trilogy?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The first season of
But that's a whole nother
Mandalorian was
conversation.
entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Right.
Oh my
And
god!
I think I will enjoy the second one as well. But I think that's pretty
I think
much
we will.
all the news we probably have that's relevant right now.
We crammed it in.
Can I sign us out? of this podcast?
Do it.
now?
Take us out.
Take it away.
Okay, this has been a marathon of a podcast here on the eve of Christmas Eve 2020. We almost made it, you guys. We're almost out of the gauntlet.
Almost there.
We live stream podcasts on YouTube whenever we feel like. It seems like right now, without very much notice. So sorry, you guys. If you want to catch us live, you better be refreshing that feed every 30 seconds.
At
An
least
avid
every
refresher.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
At least.
We are on Amazon Podcasts and also Stitcher, and I wanna talk to the group about putting us on more platforms, but that's neither here nor there at this point. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to us there or subscribe to us on YouTube. We, disclaimer, we do this as a hobby and we do this when we have time, so give us a little
It ain't
bit
gonna
of
be an
slack.
everyday thing.
Yeah, but
There's other people that do this for a living. I cannot.
Yeah, we're all working people who have
Just
at
normal
this point,
people.
At this point, I think
With
we have
similar interests.
pretty cool jobs right now. So, there is that.
Would
But
agree.
I'm rambling now. I will see you guys later.